Hey guys, this is my first YouTube video for my new channel, A Silent Path. What I'm about to say may not make sense to you right now. It didn't make sense to me either. Started trading. You see, I came from years of success in the external world. Investment banking, hedge funds, building various businesses. On paper, I had it all. I really did. The knowledge, the education, the experience. I thought that alone would guarantee my success in trading. I've done this for years, can do this for myself. How difficult can it be? And at first, it seemed true. My first year, I made a lot of money. That was about 5 years ago. Second year, I started losing. Third year, I lost even more. Until eventually, I gave back every single gain I have made and more. That was my breaking point. Right now, it may sound a bit cliche, but the losses were devastating. The pain was excruciating. The inability to understand why I cannot trade to save my life was absolutely killing and destroying me, especially for someone who has managed to gain success in the external world, in the world of finance. I just couldn't understand why success in trading was eluding me. It obviously was trying to teach me something. I'm going to speak about that later. But that was my breaking point. The moment that I realized I could not trade to save my life, not in the way I thought I could. So I made a decision. I would do whatever it takes to understand why. Why, but I just couldn't do it. That decision took me down a very different path, a path I didn't expect. Because what I discovered was this: success in trading is not about the markets. It really isn't. Success in trading is all about you, yourself. Because trading is like a mirror, it reflects back on us what we are. And if any of you have tried to make day trading the main source of income, you would know this. The fears, the overthinking, the sleepless nights, the fear of missing out, the emotional roller coaster of greed, hesitation, fear, uncertainty, doubting yourself, desperation, and the cycle goes on and on. For some people, it goes on for years. It sure did go for years on. It sure did go on for years for me as well. Until, like I said, I decided to really get to the bottom of it. In trading, we're not really fighting the market, even though it may seem like we are, or big banks, hedge funds, big players are after the small guys to take our stop loss, take our money. This really is not the case. We're fighting ourselves every day when we step into the market. Our fears, our insecurities, our need of control, and the biggest obstacle is our inherent fear of not being in control, because we are used to always controlling stuff in our life. And the market is one area where you can't control the outcome. And unless we face those parts of ourselves, we'll keep circling back to the same result, the same baseline, the same bank account balance. I know I did for many years. Now I've seen it happen, not just for me, but for countless other people, fellow traders, friends, relatives, just random people that I meet in group chats throughout my journey. The path is always the same, and the problems were always the same. People make a fortune sometimes and then blow it up in a handful of trades, sometimes even one trade. The subconscious pulls them back, believe they belong. That is the inherent limitation. Because the truth is, the market exposes everything we try to hide about ourselves. And like I said, it makes sense. But if you've been in this game long enough, you would know the market is a mirror. Come to the market being undisciplined, not following your plan, not sticking to the rules, swinging it, thinking it just miraculously will work out on a few trades. But in a long term, all that's going to happen is you're going to give back the capital, give back the gains. This is simple truth about the market. To reflect ourselves in all the other areas of our life. Our doubts, our fears, and of course, the big ego that most people have, and which they bring to the trading and to their trading. Trading doesn't care about the past achievements. If it did, then all those big hotshot successful people from other works of life, lawyers, surgeons, successful businessmen, financiers like myself, then it would make sense to go and rate their success in the markets. But the reality is, those people, the high achievers, the ones that are used to controlling stuff, Success in the market is extremely more difficult because they have to rewire of being able to control the outcomes into the ones of probabilities. And this, my friends, is not a small task. So basically, the markets do reflect back on us who we are. For me, it was a brutal realization. I had to confront my own perfectionism, my own need to control the outcomes, my subconscious always whispering to me in a voice of fear that I'm not worthy of holding on to success when it comes easy to me. For every person, it will be something specific and unique. But to me, trading showed me those paths I had carried with me in my life for years. And I realized that it wasn't really about the charts anymore. It became about me becoming the kind of person who can actually succeed in the markets. I had to change many things about myself. I had to face my limitations, my fears, my subconscious beliefs that were limiting my ability to extract money from the markets. That's the thing. I realized that I had to become the kind of person that could face my own fears without flinching, a person who could act without hesitation, even in the face of adversity, a person who could win, remain grounded. This transformation for sure did not come cheap. I paid for it in blood, thousands of dollars of losses, sleepless nights, and the worst part of it all, the worst pain of it all, is that I knew exactly what I had to do, but I was not able to do it for years. But through all this pain, I learned about patience. I learned to detach from the outcomes. I've learned discipline. And one thing that helped me more than any other, not just in trading, but through trading, I became more self-aware. And that's the quality once developed, a person to have the kind of life that they are in control of, as opposed to the kind of life which is controlled by ego, by impulses. So trading has allowed me to face myself, to recreate myself. And slowly I became someone I hardly recognized, calmer, more balanced, more in control, but of myself. I got the driving wheel to my life, to my actions, and to the outcomes of my life into my own hands. Away from fear, away from insecurity, away from all the limiting beliefs that I have had and managed to adapt over the years. And this is something that trading gave me, which is very difficult, if not possible, to quantify. It's not monetary, but it is something that gave me a much better quality of life. And this is why I named this challenge A Silent Path, because that journey traders are on, it's silent. If you're on this channel, you would know this. There's no cheering crowd, no colleagues to pat you on the back when you're down, no boss to give you a raise or promotion. It's just you versus you. Me, we are alone with our thoughts. What didn't we do right? How come the trade didn't work out? Why did I make that mistake? Why was I so impulsively over trading today when all I had to do was just take one good trade? Why didn't I stop after I hit my profit target for the day? Why didn't I stop? Why I hit my drawdown limit for the day? Why did I follow that trader? Why couldn't I stick to my strategy? What made me take this random trade out of nowhere without any analysis? Why did I just press that button instead of waiting for a confirmation? Why didn't I close the trade at the time when I knew I should have closed it to follow my plan? Instead, I gave back all the gains. And I can go on and on and on and on hours because I've been there. I've done and I've made every single mistake most of the people who are watching this have made. I went through pain to get to where I'm at. I had to pay for those lessons. So we are alone with our thoughts. A silent path. During the day, we are alone with our decisions. Every single trade is a mirror. Every single trading day is a mirror. I want you to let that sink in. If everything is a mirror, how do you change that to get the outcome you desire? You need to change yourself. And even though trading has become so popular, the truth is, to succeed, we must walk this path alone. Nobody can do it for us. Nobody can do it for you. There's no shortcut, no magic indicator, no perfect mentor who says, I can bypass the learning curve and your inner work and you can start making money. Simply it's just not how this game works. That's the reality of it, irrespective of what anyone tells you. The most of the people on the internet who tell you that they can show you the way without hesitation, teach you how to trade, and you can just follow them. Most of the time, those traders are just marketers who have very little understanding of really how to be a trader, with very few exceptions. Because anyone who's serious about this knows it's not fucking easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. So my intention with this channel isn't to hand you a blueprint of how to make your first $100,000 or $1 million. It's to share my journey, the lessons, the mistakes, the breakthroughs that I have had along the way. Because while I can guide you, the path itself, that's yours to walk. I've really tried it all. I copied other traders. I chased every strategy. I followed signals. I burned accounts. I hit walls. And I'm not afraid, I'm not shy to say this. I am sharing my experience. I went through all of it. Significant losses, all the purpose of trying to understand why the fuck I cannot learn how to trade. How many years? Big deals, working for big banks and hedge funds. But when it came down to managing my own wealth and trading, for years I couldn't do it. So this is a channel about my experience. Every single time I came back to the same truth. Before I can win in the market, I need to master myself. Mindset first, then strategy, then the results. You cannot skip steps. And you can't have discipline without a strategy, that's for sure. But you can't stick to the strategy without mastering your emotions, because you will get hijacked, trained by your ego into doing all kinds of crazy shit that would get you in trouble. As Richard Dennis, the man behind the famous Turtle Traders book, trader who made hundreds of millions of dollars, said, I could publish my trading rules in a newspaper and most people would still not follow them. It's not about knowing what to do. Everybody knows what to do. It's about actually becoming the kind of person who would. This is the silent path. Welcome.